All right, good evening, everybody. So, after 4 months of let me say it again. After 4 years of sorry, ladies and gentlemen, after 4 months of long, arduous, difficult negotiations, I am really proud and pleased to announce that Democrats and Republicans in the Senate have come to an agreement on the bipartisan supplemental bill tonight. This bill is vital to America's future interests. Ukraine would be run over by Putin if we don't get aid in this bill. Israel needs to defend itself against Hamas with the aid in this bill. Palestinian civilians need food to prevent them from starvation that is in this bill. And we fix the border problem in this bill. So this bill has so many important things for America, for our national security, and for our well-being in this country. This is one of the most important pieces of legislation that the Senate has seen in years and years and years. And we cannot let politics get in the way of passing this legislation. The senators have to drown out the noise of politics and politicians who tell them not to vote for this bill for political purposes. We all know it's the right thing to do. We all know it's very much needed. We all know that a lot of the future of America depends on this. We have many enemies attacking us: Putin, Hamas, the Chinese, the Iranians. This bill says America will step up to the plate and defend itself. And that's why it is so important for it to pass. And we all know that the border is broken. This bill not only helps fix the problems at the border, but has money that can come to New York to help deal with our migrant crisis. So the bill's important in so many different ways, and we have no choice but to move forward. I am proud that after 4 months of negotiations, this has worked. I have to sneeze. Sorry. Oh, I got a cold.
We'll just say God bless you and then it will go away. God bless you.
Pardon? Have I missed? You want me to say it all again?
Yeah, stop touching it.
Okay. I am proud. Leader McConnell and I, who disagree on many issues, have never worked so closely together on legislation as we did on this, because we both realized the gravity of the situation and how important passage of this legislation is. There were many times when people were ready to walk out. It was so difficult. But I said we have to go forward. We have to persist because this legislation is too important to the country. Let me go over each issue. Putin has invaded Ukraine. If he's not stopped, then he will be in Eastern Europe, and American resources and maybe even American lives will be at stake. The Ukrainians are running out of ammunition. They're brave, they're valiant, but without this help, Putin will win the war. Zelensky, the president of Ukraine, has said to us, if you don't get this aid, we will lose the war, and the West and the United States will pay the consequences. We all know that we desperately need aid to Palestinians who lack food in Gaza. This bill will get them that aid that they need while making sure that Hamas, a terrorist organization, is not able to get hold of these kinds of resources. We all know that the border is broken. We must fix it. Immigration is one of the toughest issues that Congress has ever faced, and yet we have come together on a bill. Now, if Democrats were writing this bill, it wouldn't be exactly the same, but this is what compromise is all about. This is how we have to come together in a bipartisan way to get things done, and we have. So this is a real test for the Congress, for the Senate, for America. Will we step up to the plate when every objective observer says this legislation is needed? Or will we let politics get in the way, people saying don't do it for political reasons when the country so desperately needs the legislation? I think I've said the things I'm going to say, and I'm ready for your questions on this subject. Yes, Yankee fan. Well, the Republicans originally, many of them didn't want to aid Ukraine at all. Many of them didn't want to give any humanitarian aid. And Many of them were so intransigent on the other issues that they began to say it's my way or no way. But our Republicans in the Senate, led by Leader McConnell, said we've got to get this done. This is how the Senate should work. No one side can get its way completely, or we get no legislation and the country's at risk.
And which of those 3 issues were Republicans the most focused on?
Different Republicans were focused on different ones.
I'm wondering if you can respond to, Congresswoman Elise Stefanik said this bill is a non-starter and will further incentivize thousands of illegals to pouring across our borders daily, and that Republicans have already passed the Secure Our Border Act. Just wondering what your response is to that.
Well, the bottom line is that everyone who looks at our bill says that it will greatly reduce the flow of illegal immigrants into this country, and it's done in a fair way. The bill that she's talking about got not one Democratic vote. If you want to do it partisan, you won't get anything done. She ought to be far more bipartisan. Okay? Thank you, everybody.
Just one more question, sorry.
Yeah.
What is your reaction to the attack on 2 police officers in Times Square by allegedly a group of migrants?
I think that it was appalling, the attack, and they ought to be prosecuted to the full extent of the law. Okay? Thanks, everybody.
One more. Do you foresee any problems down the road?
Oh, there are problems down the road on something as difficult as this. Congress has tried to deal with immigration for 30 years and been unsuccessful. This could be the first time we're really successful.
So you're optimistic?
I'm hopeful. You know, my father taught me if you're doing something important, persist and persist and persist, and God will reward you. You'll succeed. We're going to persist. Okay? Thank you, everybody.